What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be checking out Bitcoin really quick. Quick run through. I'm not going to go super in depth, but just a quick little checkup on Bitcoin and talk about some different things here. So we're here on the daily. It looks like we potentially got our bottom April 7th. We don't really know. Could always make a lower low, or maybe we'll pull back and make a lower high. We'll see how it plays out. Right now we are holding the key level that we spoke about, which was this level here at 92,000. We broke above it on the daily, got a couple bounces, and most importantly, we closed above it on the weekly. And we actually closed even higher. So it's even higher up in this zone, which is even more bullish. I think it's a great sign. Doesn't mean that we're out of the woods yet, but I do think we're headed in the right direction. On the shorter time frame, it looks like we could potentially be getting a push back to the 618. Yeah, on the Fibonacci right here, when you pull from this wick to this top wick here, we got a bounce perfectly off the 618 just within the past hour or two. And it looks like we're getting a nice little move up. Let's see if we can recapture this red candle here and make this a nice green candle. We don't know what's going to happen, of course, but that would be nice to see. The other day we did think if we broke 95.2 that we would see 96.5, which was this thin area of support or resistance here. But it looks like we did not make it there. We made it up to about 96,000 and then we fell short. But let's see if we make it up to it, this week or something like that. I do think the very bullish scenario could be us closing here on the monthly above this wick right here at 95,200. If we can get a nice close above that in 3 days, I think that'd be super bullish. And then when you look on the monthly chart to the left, all you have is this godlike red candle. So let's see if we get a nice green candle to fill that up and push up higher, and eventually maybe we can break these wicks up here and break to all-time highs. Now I do think if we start pumping soon, that could probably lead closer to that left translated cycle theory. And I think if we kind of like chop and slowly, steadily increase, then that probably increases the likelihood of us making that right translated cycle. I do think if we get a left translated cycle, it's probably going to be, we'll top a little bit lower. I'm just going to throw out random numbers, but let's say if we have a left translated cycle and we peak July or something like that, July, August, earlier than anticipated. Let's say we top here at 140 to like 170. And if we get that right translated cycle, it'll be a more solid chop consistently. And then maybe we end up topping higher up at like 200K, 220 or something like that. It'll give price more time to slowly increase. And then when it does have its blow off top, it makes it to that, $200,000 target. But if we start pumping instantly very soon, then that could be a sign that maybe a left translated cycle could be occurring. Of course, that's not guaranteed. Of course, we could still pump like crazy, chop sideways, and still have a right translated cycle, and we go up even higher than we anticipated. And that's just something to think about. On the hourly to the downside, levels we're going to be looking at here would be somewhere in this region here. For anybody that's like a day trader, I'd do this quick. If we lose this level, there's a chance that we make it to 92,000. If we lose 92.8 to about 93,000, if we lose that, we make it down to that 92,000 to 91.8 to the downside. And to the upside, if we break 94.5, we could make it to 95,000 easily. And ideally, if we were to break 95.9 or 96,000, we have to look on a higher time frame, but if we break 96,000, then we could have a little bit of resistance at about at 96 96 to about 96.7 to be exact. But we'll see how it goes. But once we break 97,000, should be a nice move up to about 98.5 on a lower time frame. But I don't day trade. I'm just speaking on the levels that I see. And of course, they're always open to error, and they don't have to be 100% correct. That global liquidity spike, I think there was something wrong with the data in India because it spiked extremely high, much higher than it did. So if you're using the exact same one that I'm using, the global liquidity index, you probably have to go into your settings and take off other countries, M2, and it'll adjust back to its normal state. That's what I've been hearing, that India has some kind of like problem or error or something like that with their numbers, and that's why it had that major spike. So I mean, we still have a major spike anyways, so let's see where price takes us when you measure out the first leg and compare it to the second leg. Compare it to the second leg was a little bit higher, and then you move that up to this one here, and you compare this leg to what we currently have, and that one's much higher, maybe like 25%, 20% higher than this second leg. So maybe this leg will double. Actually, let's compare the first leg to this leg. Maybe it's about double the height. So we'll take this one and measure it to here. I wouldn't say double, but maybe it's 40% higher. But I mean, it's pretty close. So maybe this thing does a little bit more than the first two cycles of global liquidity spikes. And if you take a look here, so the first global liquidity leg was shorter than the second one, but the first one returned about 92%. And then if we take it from this bottom here, so this is the second leg up, that one gave us about 120%. So this one was shorter than this one. This one gave us 92. This one gave us 120. And this one is larger than both of these. So if it's larger than this one and it gave us 120, then maybe this one gives us a 20% more. Who knows? Who knows what happens, but we're just speculating. But say we give it a 140 instead of 120 like the last one. The last one was 120. So since this one's larger, we'll add a 20%. And if you add 30, 150% will put us at, 185 or something like that. But we'll see how it plays out though. I just wanted to give a quick little update since it's Sunday night. We're going to probably end up making a MSTR video in the morning. And we'll do something else later on in the day as well. But stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe if you guys want to see more content like this. I appreciate the support. I'll see you in the next one.